Hey guys, it's Robin, RsIslandCrafts, and welcome to my craft room. This is my WiP It Wednesday video where I show you what I've been working on in the craft room throughout the week, whether I just spent a couple minutes on it or it was my main focus for the week. I kind of dabbled a little this week on a few things. Now last week I showed you all my knitting in the beginning, and this week I'm going to go ahead and just show you my sewing, and then I'll put the knitting at the end, so that way you can kind of pick and choose what you want to watch. Of course, I hope you stick around for all of it because I don't know, you've seen my projects, and I think it's just nice to see how far someone's gotten each week on their projects. I did go back and start making another baby quilt this week. These were the last of my 2.5-inch strips of my monster fabric from a fat quarter pack. You've seen this in 3, maybe 4 quilts now. I still have a little bit of scraps left here and there, some small pieces that I'm going to be using in crumb blocks and log cabins and whatever, things like, you know, some type of scrappy project. But for the most part, this is the end of the monsters. It's kind of sad. I bought this fabric many years ago. It was a fat quarter pack that I purchased 2 of them from Walmart, where they had, this is when they closed down their craft department and then they opened up a new one where they gave you just a little bit of pre-cuts and stuff. So I'm pretty sure I won't be able to find this again unless maybe it's like on eBay or something. But that's okay. I've had fun working on these. So this quilt, I just went ahead and measured it, and it's going to run about 35 by 38, so it's going to be a little bit smaller than usual, but it's still going to be perfectly fine for a baby quilt. I'd had a bunch of 2.5-inch strips already pre-cut of the green to make these little squares, because as you can see, I did this in a similar way to like a jelly roll quilt. Instead of making them end to end, I just cut my strips to about 36 to 40 inches, and then I just went ahead and I stitched them all together. So I did have to cut a little bit extra of the green, so thank goodness I still had a bunch left. And this is going to be my binding. So this is all set and ready for its next step, and which will be quilting. I'd said once before that I'm probably going to just take June off from making baby quilts and then take that time to baste and quilt all of them. And I'm still leaning towards that. I'm hoping maybe I can baste a couple a week so that once June hits, then I can just quilt them all and be done with that. Because it does take a while to baste them. Then you have to quilt them, then you have to trim them up, and then you have to bind them. So the top is really the quickest and easiest part for me. I think it's also the most fun. Now the other thing that I've been making is the tissue pouches. A couple in progress. These are the boxy ones that I made. If you've seen my video on Friday, you'll see that I made a few of my tissue box, the travel size ones for your purse, that they have the boxed edge on them. And then I made a bunch that are just the flat ones, so they're going to sit a little bit different in your purse. This fabric is really pretty. I like this fabric. So I have all those. And then I still have all of the black ones to sew. But these are all just cut out. I ran out of time, so these will get done soon. A lot of fun fabrics. This is the one I'm going to use for mine, for my purse. And that's it on the sewing this week. These took up a couple days of my week anyways, and this takes up a whole day, getting everything ready and ironing and sewing and all that fun stuff. You know how it goes. You know, when you're making these, one tissue pouch might only take 15 or 20 minutes, but I made 30 of them, plus cutting out all the fabric for the black ones that I haven't sewn up yet. So that did take a couple bit of my time, plus making the video. You know how it goes. Time just goes by quick. Okay, so now let's get into the yarn stuff. I did not get very far on Rob's Afghan. I've only done 1.5 rows, but that's still, when you have one that's, you know, decent length. I haven't measured. Once again, I never measure anything. It's probably 36 to 40 inches wide. I just laid, when I made my foundation chain, we just laid it across his lap to see where it would fit, and then that's the way I made it. But I'm still working on a big chunk of red, and I think I'm going to go ahead and take this one with me when we go for the chemo treatment on Thursday, because that'll give me a few hours. I've been having a hard time knitting while sitting there, and I don't know if it's because I kind of have to pay a little more attention to what I'm doing. So this is just a simple stitch. It's a free pattern. It's linked down below in my Ravelry. It's a Lion Brand hooded baby blanket, the crochet version, obviously. And it's just a single crochet and 2 doubles all in one stitch. It's a little cluster. So there's really no thought process to that. And I am doing it on a L hook because I wanted it nice and loose. And I think sometimes I might crochet a little bit tighter than some people, so I do tend to go up to a larger hook. But if I take it with me on Thursday, maybe it'll keep me awake, paying attention, and depending on how many people I decide to chat with, maybe I can still crochet while I chat. We'll see. These are all my dragon body parts that you've already seen. Haven't gotten too much farther on putting that together, but I did make the little arms. Now, since this is a paid-for pattern, I can't really tell you the secret recipe for it, but look at those little toes. I just thought that was a really cool. It's the first time I've seen, I mean, I haven't crocheted in several years, so this may be very common in patterns, but this is the first time I've seen toes done this way, and I thought they came out really kind of cool. So once I stuff these, then those are going to be the little fingers and toenails and toes or whatever. So I thought they turned out really cute. Now these are the Pioneer gloves that I've been working on. I was here on both of them, of course, and I made it up there. I've now hit the 4-inch mark, so I can start working on the thumb, and it's going to have, as the ribbing comes up, it's just going to go across this way. This is a free pattern from Ravelry, also linked down below in my Ravelry page. So I wanted to make them a little bit longer. So a lot of times the cuffs only come to about here, and I like to make sure it goes longer, so when you put your jacket or a hoodie or shirt on, you can put it over the cuff, and that keeps the draft from going up your jacket. At least that's what I figure. It doesn't get that cold down here, but from what I remember, that's a good idea to do. So this has the ribbing go this way, and then it kind of branches off to the thumb and then still goes up to the hand. So it's kind of a neat looking pattern. That's why I chose it. Now Rob saw me working on these yesterday, and he's like, oh, those are awfully small. Who are you making them for? But he doesn't understand that when you're knitting rib, it stretches. So it looks really small on the needles, actually stretches good. And with the ribbing on these, it's kind of part of the showcase of it so that you can see the knits and purls. So it stays nice and firm on my wrist still. And the person I'm making for has the same hand size as me, which is very convenient. We're just all mediums around here, so it's really easy. But I can feel it. It's holding my wrist nicely, and it's not too tight, and it's definitely not loose. So these are going to definitely be warm for this person, and I think she's going to really like them. It's a gift, so shh, don't tell nobody. If you've been watching my WiP It Wednesdays for a while, you might remember that this matches a hat I made and a cowl. So as soon as I can get these finished, I can go ahead and ship them out to my friend and start working on the next project. And my last project are the socks that I'm knitting for myself. So my goal is to have these socks done. Oh, look, they match the quilt nicely. So my goal for these socks is to have them done by the end of April. If it happens, it happens. If not, it's okay. Because in May, I'm going to go ahead and order enough sock yarn to do my son Robbie's socks for the rest of the year. Now, it's only going to give me 8 months before Christmas, so you figure maybe 7 months before Christmas, and I want to do at least 3 pairs of socks. So I'm going to really have to order this yarn and get started on his socks. So this sock is ready to go ahead and start to heal. I only had to do a couple rows to get to that point. And this sock, I still need to do about 10 or 15 rows. I really only put a couple rounds on each of them, but that's okay because they're making progress. And once you get past, for me, once I get past the foot, it seems like the heels and the leg of it go really quick. So we'll see how that ends up. I don't make mine as tall as Robbie. Robbie likes his socks that where you take it at the heel and you fold the leg down that the leg matches the same length as the foot. I don't usually do that. I like mine just to go a little bit up the leg because I don't need it all the way up the leg for warmth. I just want it for my feet to stay warm. Which means I can usually get possibly another pair of socks or at least one more sock out of any of the leftover yarn. I like mismatched socks, so having 2 different socks doesn't bother me. So I think that's it for me this week. I can't remember if I showed you my 9 patches with the ladybugs, which I think I did. So I haven't sewn any more 9 patches yet this week. I'm going to have to remedy that now that I've thought about it. I did not get a chance to work on the baby preemie t-shirts, the little dressing gown things they have for the preemies. I just ran out of time this week. There was just too much going on in the craft room and too much going on in life. But that's okay, because I've always got this week coming up. And now that gives me plenty of things to work on. As always, I'd love to hear what you guys are working on. Go ahead and leave it down in the comments below. Some of you guys are actually getting pretty far in your projects and finishing them, while I still seem to be dragging my feet a little bit. I just can't seem to work on only 1 or 2 projects a week. There's always seems to be, like, the baby quilts are on Saturdays. I take my sock knitting when I go to the doctor or I have appointments. I take the cowl when I take Rob to the doctor. And we haven't had very many appointments this week because it was our week off. And then I work on the crochet in the morning and at night. So it's like I have a good reason for everything. Hey, I got a good reason for why I have 25 projects on the go at all times. But it's like every project has its own thing. I know what I didn't show you. Hold on one second. I didn't show you my hand-sewn quilt or my little wall hanging. I managed to start sewing my sashing and the rows together, so I added this one, and I was able to match it up pretty good there. It's close enough. It's not perfect, but it's less than 1/8 of an inch, I would guess. And I stitched this length on, so I just have this last row to stitch down. And then I'll be able to go ahead and link it up with the link party. I believe they mentioned that we only have to have it sewn to this point. I don't have to actually have the borders on maybe, but I'll have to double check the rules. Because I know we definitely don't have to have it quilted and bound and all that. So I'd like to get to this point so that everything's all done so I can start the hand quilting. Because that's something that's fun. You can pick up and put down a little bit here and there. And that'll be nice to change my... I'll be doing it probably with either thread or 1 or 2 embroidery flosses, and then I can change the colors as I'm working through each of these little triangles and squares and stuff, and I'm really looking forward to that part of it. Okay, now that's it. If I have anything else, I don't remember it, and I'm not going to show it. I'll show it next week. So if you enjoy these type of videos where you see what someone's been working on each week, please go ahead and click the thumbs up button. And if you want to see more of what I've been working on, click the subscribe button and ring that little bell, and YouTube will let you know every time I put a video up, because I do have more than just my WiP It Wednesdays. Okay, until next time, I'll see you later. Stay crafty. Bye.